Have you ever dreamed of leaving it all behind? Just disappearing into the woods to build a secret home among the trees? Well, I decided to stop dreaming and start building. This isn't just any treehouse. This is my attempt to create a fully off-grid, livable cabin, 16 feet up in the air, supported by a single, massive pine tree. I'm Wild Hammer, and this is the story of my most ambitious project yet. The challenge is immense. How do you lift heavy beams that high by yourself? How do you build a stable floor on a living, moving tree? And how do you make it strong enough to withstand anything the wilderness can throw at it? The first step was the hardest, choosing the right tree. It had to be strong, healthy, and perfectly positioned. After days of searching, I found it the one. This majestic pine would become the foundation of my new home in the sky. The real engineering puzzle was designing the support system. I couldn't just nail boards into the trunk. That would harm the tree and wouldn't be strong enough. I needed a way to clamp the main support beams around the tree, allowing it to grow while holding thousands of pounds of weight. I decided on a system of heavy-duty brackets and massive bolts that would squeeze the beams against the trunk, using friction and compression. Every inch was a victory. Slowly, painstakingly, the main platform began to take shape. I remember standing on that wobbly frame for the first time, 16 feet off the ground, heart pounding. It was terrifying and exhilarating. This was the moment it all started to feel real. The floor joists went in next, creating a grid that would become my floor. I used, salvaged, and reclaimed wood whenever possible, not just to save money, but to give the build more character. Every piece of wood tells a story, and now they were becoming part of mine. With the platform secure, it was time to build the walls. This is where the treehouse started to feel less like a deck in the sky and more like a cabin. I framed each wall on the ground, then hauled them up with a rope and pulley system. It was a slow, nerve-wracking process. One slip, and a whole day's work could come crashing down. As the 4 walls went up, I could finally see the dimensions of my tiny home. It was small, just big enough for one person, but the view was already spectacular. Looking out from the window frames, I could see the forest canopy stretching out in every direction. The roof was another major hurdle. I wanted a pitched roof to shed snow and rain effectively, but building it so high up, by myself, was a logistical nightmare. My first attempt was a disaster. A sudden gust of wind caught the half-finished structure, and a section of it twisted and collapsed. It was a huge setback. I sat there for a while, feeling defeated. But in the wilderness, you don't have the luxury of giving up. You learn, you adapt, and you rebuild. Stronger this time. The second attempt at the roof was a success. I used better bracing and waited for a calm day. Installing the metal roofing was the final step in making the shell waterproof. Hearing the first raindrops patter on that metal roof, while I was dry inside, was one of the most satisfying moments of the entire build. Now for the details that would turn this wooden box into a home. Insulation was crucial for an all-season cabin. I packed every inch of the walls, floor, and ceiling with thick foam board insulation. This would keep me warm during the freezing winter nights and cool in the summer heat. For the interior, I wanted a cozy, rustic feel. I clad the walls and ceiling with thin pine panels, giving the space a warm, golden glow. The smell of fresh-cut wood filled the tiny cabin. It finally felt like a real home, a sanctuary hidden in the trees. I built a small fold-down desk that would serve as my workspace and dining table. Space is a luxury in a microcabin, so every piece of furniture had to be multifunctional. The bed platform was built into the back wall, with storage space underneath for clothes and gear. Powering this off-grid home was the next challenge. I installed a small solar panel on the roof, connected to a battery bank inside. It wasn't enough to run a refrigerator, but it provided more than enough power for my LED lights, charging my phone, and running a small laptop. Seeing the lights flick on for the first time, powered entirely by the sun, was a magical moment. It felt like I had created my own little self-sufficient world. For heat, I installed a tiny wood stove. It's incredibly efficient and can get the small, insulated space toasty warm in minutes. The first fire I lit in that stove was a milestone. Outside, a storm could be raging, but inside, I was warm, safe, and completely independent. What about water? I designed a simple rainwater collection system. Gutters on the roof channel water into a storage tank. A hand pump inside gives me access to water for washing and cooking. It's a simple, reliable system that uses what nature provides. The final touches were all about comfort and function. I installed a small sink, built custom shelves, and added hooks for gear. One of the most critical parts of the build was waterproofing. I learned from my roof collapse that you can't cut corners. I tested it during a massive thunderstorm, watching from my window as sheets of rain lashed the cabin. Not a single drop got inside. It was bulletproof. After weeks of relentless work, mistakes, and small triumphs, it was finally finished. My off-grid treehouse cabin, a fully functional, insulated, and heated home, floating 16 feet in the forest. Looking back at the journey, it was more than just a construction project. It was a test of perseverance, creativity, and resilience. This treehouse is more than just wood and screws. It's a testament to the idea that with enough determination, you can build your own little piece of freedom. It's a place to escape, to think, to create, and to just be. To live simply, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the forest. Standing here now, in my cozy cabin in the sky, I feel a profound sense of accomplishment. It's a feeling that you can't buy. It's earned through sweat, struggle, and a refusal to give up on a wild idea. This project taught me so much about building, but even more about myself. It showed me that the biggest limits we face are often the ones we place on ourselves. So, what's next? For now, I'm just going to enjoy this. Waking up to the sound of birds, watching the sunset through the pines from my window, and feeling the gentle sway of the tree in the wind. This is the dream, realized. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. Building this treehouse has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, and sharing it with you makes it even better. If you enjoyed this adventure and want to see what I get up to next, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what your dream build would be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next project.